Greetings, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to look at my YouTube channel here while I'm doing this voiceover. Um, the um, the second video I made, I edited some things out, got passed through by YouTube 5 days after they demonetized it. I made another video here. Hey YouTube, this is a simple adjustment you can make, and whatever. The rest of the title says here, simple adjustment you can make to the demonetization policy. That's a no-brainer. Um, you know, that's caused me issues here on this channel and ultimately hurt you, the viewers, and certainly hurts YouTube and their, ability to make money off of my videos. And so their policies suck and the way they're handling it when they could make this change, which I talked about in the video. They haven't reviewed the first video, which I asked to be reviewed, a few seconds before the second one, or maybe, hours before the second one, because I hadn't uploaded the second one yet. So I asked for this one to be reviewed. And then I uploaded the second one. I don't know how I did it, but I asked at basically the same time for them to be reviewed. One was reviewed yesterday. The other one's still waiting to be reviewed. And so that's that. And like I said, it's messed around with my flow of every other day for both channels. And I've had a number of demonetized videos on this channel. They've changed their attitude towards this channel. And I think I know why. It's a certain group of people, I think, complained, which I'm not going to get into here. But, that is what it is. And so I wanted to do this introduction, though, because I was watching something on ESPN and I was eating breakfast. And then it went to commercial, so I switched it over to the news, finished my breakfast, and I left the TV on. And I went to wash my plate and take my supplements. And I could hear MSNBC in the background. And they were talking about the Republicans' debate. I couldn't really understand. I didn't know exactly what they were talking about. I'll show you a clip, because there's a guy who's showing you the polls, and he's really into it. And I just thought to myself, the amount of time they talk about Trump and the Republicans, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News is pointless. They're pointless because nobody they don't get a lot of people who view them. Like their day in the sun is over. They have a dying audience of older people. They've lost the youthful demographics, and most people get their information from the internet. But, they say the same things on MSNBC and CNN. All they talk about is how bad Trump is and how bad the Republicans are. And if you're watching CNN and MSNBC, you're a regular viewer, and that's all they really have. They don't have, very many people just coming and watching occasionally on their channels. You're voting for Biden. It's already a done deal because you're not going to vote for Trump, and more than likely you're not going to vote for Kennedy. But, in general, for years, these are, this is just preaching to the choir. There's no change coming from CNN and MSNBC. They're not influencing anybody in one way or another. And I got this clip I want to show you where this guy's, the mayor of, the governor of Hawaii is talking about, get away from the internet influencers and believe the official story. But people just don't do that anymore. And there's a lot of different stories on the internet and a lot of bogus ones and a lot that's not truthful. But the official story is only for a small select people who still watch mainstream media. And if they go to CNN or MSNBC, they're not thinking about voting for Trump. They're probably not even thinking about voting for Kennedy or something. They're voting for Biden because they're watching that crappy news and they haven't realized that CNN and MSNBC sucks. And Fox is the same way. People who go to Fox aren't looking to vote for Biden. There's not anybody watching Fox that's going to vote for Biden. And they're going to vote for Trump because he's going to be their candidate. Whatever happens. And so the whole thing's pointless. Their existence is pointless because the majority of their news is about national politics and presidential politics. And it's Democrat versus Republican. And it's just preaching to the choir, like I said. There isn't any change happening there. There's no influence. There's not anybody who's, converting from Fox to CNN or converting from CNN from Fox. I mean, the only thing that's going to do is drive people towards us on the internet. That's the only thing they can do is, people wake up to their suckiness by continuing to drone on and suck and say the same things over and over again. Like, it's a pointless situation. I took a little bit of a video of the guy. He's so enthusiastic when he's talking about Trump's poll numbers. Like, he's just into it. And I'm like, dude, no one's watching and you have no effect. You're impotent. You're like limp dicks. You have no, you're just out there. Like, you could just say anything. Like, you don't even have to speak. You blah, 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 blah. That you could just do that. And it would have the same effect as your words do. Okay, so let me show you the clip here.
The latest Trump indictment last week. This is not bothering most Iowa Republicans, 65%, basically two-thirds, saying they don't believe Trump has committed serious crimes. One interesting note on this poll was conducted during the news last.
Look how excited he is. He was going to say during the news of Trump's indictment, but the guy's just totally pumped up, and he has no effect on anything. I should have showed you more. I should have taped more of it. Like, he was all binky. Like, hey, ooh, ha, hey, look at this. He's all animated. Like, he has some effect. Like, you have zero effect on the world. Zero influence. You're just on the news reading to people who already made their decision about an election that really doesn't matter one way or another, right? And so, to a dying audience who will, they're already way past their prime. But anyways, let's get into the other stuff here. Okay, so having said that, this is another Hollywood celebrities dropping like MNFN flies.
They're dropping like flies.
Listen, people are dropping like flies out there.
I am
Boop.
pissed off.
We're dropping like flies around here.
We're dropping like flies here.
Jeez, sir, 2 more just went down. Dropping like flies.
Too many people around here been dropping like flies already, and where's that getting us, huh? Nowhere. Fast.
Biden's being Biden's being extremist.
Crush that fly.
And a lot of stuff to get to. Some more Hawaiian news, a lot of funny stuff. Just, things have been mounting. Fetterman's got a new porn stash. It's true. It's great. It's true. It's true. So let's start here, though. This is a woman. So there's the seagull. Like, she doesn't even know the seagull's like just stalking her, right? She's got an ice cream. She's enjoyed the day at the beach. Seagull just freaking stole it. She doesn't even know what happened. And then she realizes the seagull's just dive bombing her, right? Like, the seagulls have turned up their game a notch or several notches. This one's next level. The hawk is a dirty M&F. And so the hawk comes in and you can see it's going to circle around here. It's going to pick something up from over here. So it's found something on the bank and it just snatched it, because hawks are good at that. They have incredible eyesight. That was coming straight for the camera. Kabow! It's a snake. And it dropped it. There's the snake. It just dropped it on this woman filming it. So let's watch it again. Like, this is next level. This is intent. This is hostile. So boom, picks up the snake right there. And that's coming in here. You're going to see it's going to fly around. That's going to turn straight for the woman. The woman pissed it off or whatever. You see the snake, and it goes boom. Drops it. Now, okay, maybe they CGI'd this. Maybe this is fake. I don't know. There's always that possibility. But how did they get the hawk coming straight at them? Like, the hawk's here, picks it up, the hawk's flying around. And again, this could be a CGI hawk that's conceivable, but looks kind of real. And if it is, it's targeted this woman. It knew that the snake was something the woman didn't want to have, and it just dropped it on her, right? And we've seen this with other animals now. The orcas, the killer whales have turned on people, right? They're sinking boats. And the seagulls have definitely upped their game. I always, take things with a grain of salt because we're capturing a lot more with cell phones. Things that people used to see, they are now filming. People would tell you a story and they'd be like, all right, yeah, maybe that's true. Now people have a cell phone where they can capture these things. And if this stuff is an uptick where animals are now like going after people, like nature is saying, all right, these MNFers have to be taken down. And animal life has picked up on this, and they're starting to, attack the bonus hole humans that, I'm just throwing it out there. It's kind of an interesting, like The Birds, if you ever saw the Alfred Hitchcock movie, The Birds, if this is happening where they're, or The Happening with M. Night Shyamalan, where there's something new that's, there's a nature's turning on the human population. We'll see. Like, I'm not saying it's happening, but it's an interesting twist to the plot if that's actually happening. And I just want to add one more thing. And that is, there's a woman who said that she was mowing the lawn in Texas and a hawk dropped a snake on her, accidentally, she assumed. And then the snake started biting the crap out of her, and the hawk came back to reclaim the snake and scraped, grabbed her with its talons, right? So this is, two events that have happened, I guess, in close proximity. I don't know when this thing originally happened. I didn't check the date on it. And, this could be somebody's falcon or somebody's, trained bird, and maybe it was bringing back the snake to its master. I mean, there's other explanations for this. But we've seen a lot of evidence that animals are they're just not respecting people like they used to. And, people are, much more bonus holes than in the past. And, we kind of suck, and I'm going to get into that more as we go through this. So, interesting twist here. This is the governor or mayor of Hawaii. Governor.
Doing reporting through social media is idiotic. Don't use social media. Do not rely on people who fancy themselves as influencers. The word influencer, right off the bat, suggests that they want to influence you.
Get off your phone. Get off your tablet.
Thinking about ways for the state to acquire.
So here he says this. Go back to this.
Influence you.
Get off your phone. Get off your tablet.
Thinking about ways for the state to acquire that land.
So he said this about the state acquiring that land. He's also said he doesn't want people who aren't residents of Hawaii buying the land, but as my wife pointed out, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these other, the CIA, and all these other, agencies and people are residents of Hawaii. So there's that. And land grab is happening. There's a land grab here, and I'll get more into that. It's happening in San Francisco. I got more San Francisco news. This is what's happening. This is what's up. And for this guy to come out and say, don't trust social media, when they've been blocking the media, it says it here, this Fox News guy.
Right now, Pete, I can tell you that, to my knowledge, we here at Fox are the only national media in West Maui. West Maui is isolated physically and in terms of information from the rest of the world. Cell service is rough, and the only reason we got here is that, as you know, my family's been here for something like 40 years, and we have property here to get through the security checkpoints. In fact, Pete, the mayor of Maui yesterday tried to kick us out of West Maui, saying it's a media-free zone. It's not. There is a First Amendment, there is a United States Constitution, and this is America.
So this is well put together, somebody who's doing reporting on Hawaii. And it's just getting more and more suspicious. The official story has crumbled to anybody who's paying attention, to anybody with the slightest ability to have critical thinking skills. The official story has crumbled. And this is what we have left here. Private jet crashes on a highway in Malaysia, killing 10. Self-explanatory. Read this very slowly. Seriously, what TAF? You agree to grant and hereby grant Zoom perpetual worldwide non-exclusive royalty-free sub-licensable and transferable license and all other rights required or necessary to redistribute, publish, import, access, use, store, transmit, review, disclose, preserve, extract, modify, reproduce, share, use, display, copy, distribute, translate, transcribe, create derivative works, and process customer content, and to inform all acts with respect to the customer, including AI and ML training and testing. The newly modified Zoom terms and conditions. Now, I'm not going to Zoom and looking this up because, it's not, I'm not, whatever. It may be true or not. But it's hilarious. They own you, right? If you go on Zoom, they own your boop. U.S. judge won't block Florida law barring Chinese citizens from owning homes. Again, that's self-explanatory. Pilot dies in bathroom on Miami flight carrying 271 passengers. Well, it doesn't say how he died. He went to the bathroom, a la, people who are about to have a cardiac arrest, they might feel the urge to evacuate their bowels. That's why, not Lucille Ball, but the Judy Garland and Elvis Presley, a number of other people have died on the toilet. So I ended up looking this guy up, Dr. James Hong. He says, look up Monsanto. He's like a naturopath, and he said this.
Just want to make a quick video. A lot of patients have been coming in with symptoms, cold, flu, etc. But, I just think we're getting poisoned, and I actually found out from a colleague of mine that Caltrans has been spraying pesticides all over the freeway. So there's a good chance that you just might be getting pesticide poisoning. So if you need my help, reach out. I can help you. I can treat you remotely, tell you what supplements you need or what you need to detox. Otherwise, if you can, come into the clinic and I can help you as well. It's a little bit faster, but both are effective. So that's all. Just maybe do a little research, but I heard that Caltrans is spraying pesticides, and with the wind blowing, it can get anywhere. So just be careful. All right, take care. Love you guys.
So I looked this guy up, and where do you think he's from? He mentioned California. What do you think city he's from? I don't know. San Francisco Bay Area. And so, we've had a lot of bad San Francisco news. We'll come back to San Francisco in a moment. Of course, San Francisco is, this is more kind of San Francisco news.
14 miles per hour, and forecasters say it will weaken again as it tracks parallel with the Baja Peninsula. 14 miles per hour, and forecasters say it will weaken again as it tracks parallel with the Baja.
Computer editing is great. This is Hurricane Hillary that's going to hit or already hit California. Reen dies during live fire training event at Camp Pendleton. The United States Marine died late Thursday, a night live fire training event. Investigation into the circumstance of his death is ongoing. The command is fully cooperating with investigation. It's, it's cardiac arrest. I mean, come on. Who planned to become a nun reveals how she U-turned on life of celibacy after falling in love and now helps others achieve mind-blowing orgasms by selling her own cannabis lube. There she is there. She used to be a nun, and now she sells a cannabis lube. Are you guys in the market for a lube? Any of you lube buyers out there, there's a nun out there selling lube. Tragedy hits triathlon as two athletes die during Ironman 70.3 Ireland. I don't know. I think I misread that. So I don't think it says what happened here. It doesn't, but probably two cardiac arrests. Mayors, rabbis arrested in New Jersey corruption probe. I think most of you guys know about this. I've been sent this a while ago. I just haven't gotten, whatever. First hydrogen car comes to market, charging in 5 minutes and purifies the air as it moves. The car travels 900 kilometers with the tank full and purifies the air as it moves forward. For the first time, hydrogen fuel cell technology is being applied, serialized into a commercial car. above all, it allows for such important autonomy with a charge of 6.27 kilograms of hydrogen. It purifies 449,100 liters of air, as much as a consumption of breathing of 33 people for a whole day. And it only emits water down your exhaust pipe. Seems like a winner. I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, it's going to disappear because it's too good to be true, and the oil companies will never allow these type of vehicles to come to market. San Francisco fire sale. Investors bottom fishing are buying up cities downtown at 70% discount. San Francisco had some of the most expensive real estate in the country because of the Silicon Valley area and all of it. And so this is another land grab where they've destroyed the businesses, and now all these businesses are being bought up by giant corporations. And, you know, the upper middle class of millionaires is also being attacked. They're trying to get rid of, like, anybody who's got some level of money who can, you know, support a candidate or, you know, affect change. Even though they're not billionaires, they still have some influence. And collectively, there are a lot of millionaires in America, quite a number of them. And so they want to get rid of all those people. And they're buying up commercial real estate. A lot of those people own commercial real estate. And they're dumping the cities. They're dumping, these places, New York, California, all of this stuff, Hawaii now. I mean, it's obviously they're going for land grabs. Then this happened.
Going on about 100 times a second.
It's like getting thousands of flu shots. Your mom's sweating a little bit right now.
Here, I have some water.
I actually need probably some water. I'm getting a little dizzy.
You getting a little dizzy?
Yeah.
Hey, can you grab her a cup of water? We're gonna stop while you get that water in you.
Ah, she's dead.
The best part is when her kid said, "Oh, she's dead." He's not sad at all. He's like, "Oh, that boop is dead." Biden administration wants to bring mask mandates back onto flights months after president insisted pandemic was over. That's a lot of that stuff's going around. And here's another article about it. There's some controversy whether this is true or not, but whatever. And then this, social media influencers on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok are getting turbo cancers. 20 social media stars with a combined of 60 million of subscribers have been diagnosed with cancer. It's happening. These are a list of the various people. This is the article. A lot of people who are famous influencers now have turbo cancer, young people. I saw this. Black liberal reacts to Anthony Oliver, north of Richmond, Virginia, reaction. I watched this other video. It was 4 black brothers. They were, biological brothers who were reviewing this, and they liked it. They liked the song itself and the sentiment, and this guy really liked it. He reviews 2 songs. I didn't get to the second one. I probably won't watch it. But it's interesting because this is being called a right-wing racist song to some extent by the media. But there are people on the left. This guy claims to be a liberal. And he says, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but he gets into Jeffrey Epstein a little bit. He gets into some other stuff, which is kind of interesting. He's talking about the lines in the song, and he agrees with it because most people do, because the dollar has lost its value and people are struggling financially. And it's a good song. Like, the song has a good tune, and but it's resonating. They want to divide people and make it like everybody's, politicized. But the people who I've heard who are, would be considered on the opposite side of this guy, who seems to be some, right-wing Republican, are liking this song as well because it's, people are feeling that, right? Doesn't matter what demographic you're in.
3-2, swung on, a pop foul back here.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
Yeah, clogged in the fountains of diamonds erupt from the Earth's center as supercontinents break up. The breakup of supercontinents may trigger explosive eruptions and send fountains of diamonds shooting up to the Earth's surface. Diamonds form deep in the crust, approximately 93 miles down. They are brought up to the surface very quickly in eruption called Kiblerlites. These Kiblerlites travel at between 11 and 83 miles an hour, and some eruptions may have created Mount Vesuvius, like explosions of gas and dust. Around volcanoes, there's all these incredible metals. They love to get mountains that are used to be volcanoes. That's a lot of the reason they're doing land grabs in Africa, because there's a lot of volcanoes that have brought up to the surface all these precious metals, sub-precious metals, things like diamonds and all that. But if the supercontinents are breaking up, we got bigger problems, right? This is a wonderful video. Someone just sent me this morning. So these are all people trying to get the best chairs here at this, you can see for yourself, this resort. It's like Black Friday at the pool. Okay, so one of my viewers sent me an Instagram message that talked about wildfires in Greece and how like 20,000 people had to be evacuated. Now all of a sudden there's Greek wildfires, and then right after that, the next message came in was from about the Weather Underground, and apparently you can set the filter section here for active fires, and this is all the worldwide wildfires that says here, wildfires, right? These are the active fires right now on a global basis, right? So what does that tell you? Like, we're hearing more and more about fires. I have never heard about Canadian fires. I never heard about fires in Hawaii, and I've never heard about wildfires in Greece. And as far as I know, these ancient European countries, and Greece is one of the most ancient, they've cut down a variety of trees in the past. So they have, they have a lot of trees there. And so I don't understand what the wildfires even come from. Again, I've never been to Greece, and maybe they have wildfires all the time, and now they're just telling us about it. But this is what's happening globally. The world's on fire right now, right? And so there is a Whispers of the Brighter World message. Let me see if I can find that. Well, why don't I finish up here? I have a few more things to say, and then I'll read that message and insert it here when I get the opportunity. So here is 2 Whispers of the Brighter World messages. This is Sunday, April 18th, 1999, 10 a.m. Important events are in the making for the future. A huge fire must be lit to purify the world. You need not be frightened, but you just go forward. Just go forward calmly in faith. Certain actions are inevitable. We need not judge them. The world is in such a bad state that it'll be necessary to open up the abscess. That's just like to drain like a wound or a boil. It is a poor cliche, but when the forces of evil are unleashed to this extent, the reaction sooner or later is inevitable. My dear aspirants, I do not want to alarm you. You are mature enough to realize the mess the earth is in. Always be confident in your masters. They can do everything possible for your good. Babaji. And then this one is one of the big ones. This is one of the original prophecies. This is Wednesday, February 28th, 2001, 9 a.m. In a quarter of a century, so in 2025, 2026, the earth will experience a major turbulence. So this is the beginning of, well, let me read this here. That will be the beginning of a cycle which earthmen will find very difficult to go through. Fire will literally beat down on certain parts of the world, whereas torrents of rain will pour over others. Cataclysms will follow one another for many long years, keeping men frightened. Many will turn toward a supreme God, beseeching his forgiveness forgiveness for more and more aberrant behaviors, as well as for the maltreatment imposed on their nourishing mother, the earth. The failure to respect the elements will lead to the effects generating terror among the population of the end of the century. In future ages, the present layout of the continent will be shattered, maps will need revising, yet the creatures inhabiting this planet will have more than enough to do in order to survive rather than dealing with those details. Adam, A2EOM, will turn against mankind who will have not been able to harness it, and its lightning power will be devastating. The time for punishment for the good of for such a conceit, the time for punishment for such a conceit will take place as hard as it can, and man, paying for his ancestors' glaring mistakes, will suffer without having any control over the situation. This transformation of the planet must go through all these cataclysms in order to be effectively completed. Babaji. And so there are a number of these types of messages. There's another one here. I'm not going to read that one because whatever. But I just found this other one I haven't seen in a number of years. I'll probably read it on my Journey series for my next Journey series. The 117th version of the Journey series. But anyways, there is obviously a man-made function, or it looks like a man-made function to all these fires. And this hasn't even really started yet. He said this would happen after 2025, 2026. He's talked about nuclear war and the nuclear, atom turning against man. He's talked about this on numerous occasions. Nuclear war and or nuclear power plants are something to do with the playing around with the atom, which he calls demonic energy in another message. And so, yeah, that's all. We got all that going on. Let's get back to the other stuff. We got Fetterman to get to. Let's check out Fetterman and his porn stash. And there's just one more thing I want to add to this. These messages aren't given as some sort of just doomsday prophecy cult or something. They only make a fraction of the messages and are only a small part of the teaching of Saj Marg. But the idea here is that these things aren't bad. They're necessary. That there has to be a worldwide cleansing of our current system and the governments and societies and corporations and the people themselves to bring about a spiritual transformation. And we should all know this, because I think most of us know that people suck right now and we're all collectively going in the wrong direction. And more importantly, we're not going to change, because even though we see what's happening, we ourselves don't want to give anything up. We don't want to give up what we want, what we like. We don't want to change anything. If God came down and to each one of us internally, and we had a vision, whatever we think of as God, and people who don't believe in God, something else, whatever. Bill Nye the Science Guy, whatever, for atheists. We all had a vision, and we saw what the world was going to be. We saw what we were going to suffer. We saw that we're going to have future lives, and we could see the future lives that we're going to have. The suffering, we could see pictures or, images or internal video of ourselves suffering in some future existence, and children suffering, everybody suffering, our loved ones, younger generation suffering, all of these cataclysms. And there was be like a, vision of the way it could be if we just agreed to all change right now. And I doubt, 1% of the people would agree to change, even with that kind of clarity. Because right now we all kind of know, and nobody's looking to change themselves. And people just make up some rationalization that it was a hoax or was some kind of mind control experiment or whatever. People would just, figure out some way that it wasn't real, or, it wasn't, something that they had to commit to, because that's how we are. We're selfish. We're entitled. We're not giving anything up. And so to bring in real change, things have to be taken away from us, and we're going to need to be, to a certain extent scared and, feel some remorse and understand that our collective actions led to the consequences we're all about to experience. And that's just, the way it is. It's not certainly bad. I mean, we think about it as bad, but it's not, because it's, we're going in the wrong direction, and we desperately on the soul level are craving for some sort of change. So these where the prophecies come from, a necessary change, a necessary catalyst to change for us to connect to God on a deeper level and the motivation we need to do so. And that's the first part. The second was I got a message from somebody who, was needing a younger person who wanted my input and, I guess advice or mentoring or whatever people want. People want that. And, I don't begrudge people that. I can understand, people are confused and desperate and, things are tough out there, and especially for the younger generations, but I just don't have time for it. Like I've had migraines, and please don't say anything about it because it's presently not bothering me. But I've had a migraine for like 3 days, which sucks. On and off. The first day was the worst, but it's lingering. It's really bothering me today because it came back after I woke up and felt fine. And it's like really hot outside, getting things done. But I have to just will force my way to make this video. Like I say, I feel better now. I think it's finally gone. It also had to do with my stomach being upset. It's a weird thing. I did a stomach flush. I did all these things. And finally, usually the migraines last a half a day or a day. And usually when I go to sleep and wake up, it may be there a little bit in the morning, then it goes away. But, I just, every day just trying to grind it out, getting the videos done is, I've hit kind of a stretch where it's hard for me to get into the editing part. I'm okay making the content, but I'm like, I don't feel like editing this. But in terms of interpersonal contact, I don't have anything else to offer. Like I don't have, my Journey series videos, my spiritual videos, and the Gratefullness YouTube channel. I've made a video on the Gratefullness today. I've put one up on my normal channel, and then I'm going to put one up here today. So I've made 3 videos today. I just forgot about the videos, and I just want to make them public. But I just wanted people to understand that I can spend time on people personally, but then I won't be able to make a video that day. It drains me, people's issues and whatever level that I'm empathetic or compassionate, which I kind of sort of am, whatever level I have that, I just find interpersonal interactions very draining. My wife is one thing, where I get, there's upliftment from interacting with her, but, people come and they have a lot of issues and are coming to me or whatever. They're going through stuff. And, I could do that, or I could make videos for the collective and more people benefit. I used to have time for, back when the channel was smaller and I was doing less things on I wasn't making videos on a daily basis like I have been for the last 4 or 5 years. There are examples of this in the Heartfulness meditation. The second master of the system, Babaji, was such a loving and giving person. And his successor, Charji, who was a big guy, Babaji was like 5'4", 5'5", something, a small person. And Charji was like 6'4", 6'3", educated, and, like had a gruff kind of personality. And in some ways, he was like Babaji's bouncer. Because people would want to like give him a hug or whatever, which there was spiritual energy that wasn't good. It was a positive situation. Or just, they wanted too much, right? And Charji had to, be there to guide people away from him. Like he understood how much people loved him and wanted to be around him. But Babaji was just, so giving. And there's an example of this when they traveled together to Europe. And a woman came by and her husband was mentally ill. And, some European person brought the couple to see Babaji to fix the guy. Which Charji was, writing about this in his diary, and he was pissed about it because, Babaji couldn't say no. Like he just wouldn't say no. There was a time that somebody had come years and years ago, and their daughter was dying, and Babaji gave up some of his life force to help the girl live, right? Like theoretically just transferred some of his life force to her, like in some sort of cocoon movie or something. And, he had those abilities as a highly developed spiritual person. And his spiritual master, who was, in the brighter world, who had passed away years earlier, Lalaji, was pissed at him, was like, you can't do this. You got work to do. You can't be giving away your life force to every desperate person out there, right? And so this European couple came, and Babaji reworked the guy's mind. He had, I don't know what kind of mental illness, but Bobby spent, all night reworking the guy's mind and getting him so he wasn't sane, so he wasn't crazy. And it worked. The guy was, lucid, and the woman was very grateful, and they were very happy. They left and never came back. And Chargy was saying, he wrote this in his diary journal, saying, people have to value Babaji's time and energy better. He has spiritual work to do. He's not here to fix people's problems. He's not here to save people's lives. He's here to connect them with God. Like, it's a very specific purpose. And then Chargy got older, and, he was dying, and he was master of the system, and he was, became generous like Babaji as he got older, and was just giving of his energy all the time. And, when I saw this, I was there when he was basically on his deathbed for the last year or so. I was there for the last 8 months of his life, and before then, and multiple trips to India towards the end of his life. And he had bone cancer and prostate cancer. He had a past life where he was Spartacus or something like this, and he was a slave, and he had tremendous leg pain, suffered from some scar of being in chains for years as a slave. So he had this inexplicable leg pain that was extraordinary, and he had all these he had migraines for years. He was blind. He was having respiratory issues, and he had his good days. And during his good days, he'd come out and meet people, and people would still fall all over him and just take too much, right? And I saw it. I witnessed this personally. People, out of their joy of seeing him waiting around or their desperation, and they get too close to him. Like one time, he held up his hands. This Russian woman was telling me the story, and I saw things personally about how people were, just not respecting his condition and. Not being aware and, just being a little bit restrained and, just having whatever. And, this is what I've experienced with people and somebody that they claim to love. And, I saw it and, I'm not all angry about it or all, but this is how I consider people, the desperate masses. And so this is all I can do. I'm doing what I can do. I maintain a disciplined routine, disciplined for me. I go outside. I was doing yard work. It was really hot today. We have a heat wave here. But I was doing some yard work, and in between making the videos, I was attending to my headache and, doing all the things I need to do and, maintaining some level of routine. And that's what keeps me going and helps me get through the days and crank out as much work as I do. And, I just can't do extra. I don't have something, I don't have some hidden level of, of course, I always could do more, but then I'll just be more depleted tomorrow and I won't be able to do as much, right? Since COVID, and I'm doing much better physically, but my body, I have these weird idiosyncratic kind of things that flare up every once in a while. And just because I'm older, being able to be consistent and, not overtax my resources or whatever, and recognize my limitations, things that I didn't do when I was younger. And, I eat well and I get exercise and, I take supplements and I do whatever I can do to keep going. And so people need to understand that. It's just, it's not a matter of me not, wanting to help people or whatever, but I'm limited in what I can do. And everything that I have to offer is available in my videos. Anyway, so I just thought I'd relay that, and I have one more segment of stuff to get through here, including the Fetterman stuff. Senator John Fetterman looks unrecognizable and eerily similar to Breaking Bad's Walter White. And so somebody asked me, or wrote a comment saying, how could I miss Britney Spears pole dancing, which she did when she made her divorce announcement. And it's because if I cover Britney Spears and do the Britney dance stuff I do, they demonetize the video often. And so that sucks. And I'm going to probably cover it in just short videos. I'll make some short videos with Britney in it. And I just don't have the time because the world's going to crap. Because I was covering this guy almost every other day or sometimes multiple days. He was having so many gaffes. And I haven't covered him in months. Not because I don't want to, because so many things are going on, but he just made himself available. Kaboom. He's got his porn stash, right? Can you make things any worse? And can you be more creepy, right? Why throw on the glasses and have crooked glasses? That's just classic porn stash. And they have Walter White, there's these photos comparing them, which is, But he's his own special self. The porn stash. Mystery four-legged creature lurking in Texas backyard baffles residents. Chupacabra. I used to know how to pronounce that because one of the kids in one of the treatment centers I worked at talked about it. And there's all these animals that are called Chupacabra. Oftentimes they're animals with mange, like a raccoon that doesn't have any fur, or a coyote, or some kind of disease. But this looks like a little different special animal all of its own. I mean, it's got, I don't know, possibly a dog. Here's the woman who saw it. So that happened. Broadway star Chris Paluzzo dies at 40. Stage actor was known for his roles in Mamma Mia and Wicked. And it doesn't say here. He's got a couple of kids. He loved his musical theater. And there's no cause of death. There he is, in happier times. He had schizoaffective disorder. So that might have something to do with it. There might be a suicide. They don't say, though. And so here, Tish Cyrus kids, Noah and Brayson, look like a couple of winners here. Skip mom's waiting to go to Walmart, sparking feud rumors. League of Their Own, second season scrapped on Amazon. Well, of course it is, because it's a League of Your Own. Like, who's really going to watch this? I mean, they put out all this feminist stuff, and feminists don't even like it. And they don't watch the WNBA. They're not going to watch some, Saints Jimmy Graham suffered likely seizure. Now, this is a really weird story. On the heels of the news, Saints tight end Jimmy Graham was arrested on Friday night in Southern California. The States issued a statement regarding the situation. Jimmy Graham experienced a medical episode last evening. They're saying it's a stroke, which resulted in him being disoriented. He was taken into custody by local authorities and transported to a local hospital for evaluation for what Dr. John Amos believes likely to be a seizure, and spent the night under medical supervision. So there's a lot here. Now, I don't know if he was acting violently. There's multiple stories about this. There he is there. It says here, New Orleans Saints tight end Jimmy Graham taken into custody experienced a medical episode. And so if he's having a seizure and he's not being violent to other people, what's happening, right? Like, why would they arrest him? They arrest him for having a seizure? And again, they don't specify why the police were involved and why he wasn't just thrown in an ambulance. There's another article here. Saints Jimmy Graham suffered a likely seizure. And so, weird story. Russia's first lunar mission in 47 years smashes into the moon in failure. So that happened. And then this, Emmy-winning This Is Us actor Ron Cephas Jones, dead at 66. Looking for a cause of death here. There he is there. He won some sort of an Emmy here. There he is with his daughter, I'm assuming. Jasmine Cephas Jones revealed her father had a double lung transplant from fighting chronic obstruction in his pulmonary disease. So that, is, he's had these issues for years, but of course, a lot of people are having those issues lately. Wow, I really can't add anything to that, right? This is just one jam-packed apocalyptic episode. My headache seems to be gone away. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm at least done for the day on the computer. And, a lot there. I can't really add anything to this. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting for the Apocalypse. And the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.